Konnichiwa, and welcome to Tsuki no Ame, where we try Japanese sweets and treats. Today we're having a bit of a Kit Kat party day, and I do have to start with a brief explanation because I kind of debated back and forth on whether to include one of these Kit Kats. As you might be able to tell or guess, this first one here is actually just a regular flavored Japanese Kit Kat. And part of why I debated is yes, it is just a plain Kit Kat, but also sometimes the baseline for sweets or just foods in general are different from country to country. For example, Haichu, if you've been able to, well, you can find it a lot of places here in the States now. So if you've had the opportunity to try it, you probably are pretty familiar with how it's kind of similar to Starburst, but it chews longer and has a much better fruit flavor. Well, a couple of years ago, I was able to get my hands on a bag that was actually meant for distribution over in Japan. And I had forgotten how softer they were. They were a lot more kind of almost gummy like. They were so soft, and the chew lasted a lot longer. And that, could be in part due to flavors. There were differences in the flavors in that bag versus the bag that I can get here. But the bag included grape. And so I could just kind of tell from that grape to grape comparison that there really was like a pretty significant difference. So we are actually going to try a plain regular Japanese Kit Kat, which I have never done before, just to see, if there is any difference. Hopefully there isn't, just because it'd be kind of nice to know that, both countries are working with the same baseline. But it'll at least be interesting kind of to see. The second one we have here is also a plain Kit Kat. It's called For Cafe. It's supposed to be balanced differently so that it goes well with a cup of coffee. And then this one here is a dark chocolate, 72% cocoa Kit Kat, which will also be kind of interesting. So let's find out. Let's see how this goes. Itadakimasu! All right, starting with the baseline, again, I'm just kind of curious what the difference is between a regular Japanese Kit Kat and, one that I'm a little more used to. And it kind of seems more like a regular Kit Kat, which is kind of nice. Wow. Oh. Man, if I'd have to guess, this feels kind of like it might be from the Sweetness for Adults line, but I'm not seeing that anywhere on the package, and I'm not seeing the nibs. But it is definitely a darker chocolate flavored. It's better chocolate than you usually see with Japanese sweets, which is nice. But it's darker. It's not as sweet as a normal Kit Kat. This is not a milk chocolate Kit Kat, and I am a little confused because I'm not seeing anything on this packaging to say it's anything other than just a regular Kit Kat. It's not bad. It's not super, super dark, and it could be that this really is just a regular Kit Kat. But it doesn't have the same level of sweetness that I expect from a plain Kit Kat. It is nowhere near as sweet. It's definitely a darker chocolate. It's pretty good. It's not bad at all. It's not, like I said, not super dark. I'm not a big fan of dark chocolate. And it's pretty good. So that, I'm a little surprised. Definitely not your normal. If this really is the normal Kit Kat, then there is definitely a different baseline for Kit Kats over in Japan than you have where I am, which is stateside. And if you have the chance to, I would actively encourage anyone to try doing something like this, just because, again, sometimes, baselines are different in different countries just to try and tailor them more to local tastes. So with that in mind, we're going to try the one for Cafe. And unlike the last one, this one does not have a little box for sending a message. It actually has nutritional info on it. I'm starting to really think that this is an unlabeled dark chocolate Kit Kat because this one isn't supposed to be as sweet. It's supposed to be balanced, blend well with coffee. And it's a lot sweeter and closer to a normal Kit Kat than this other one. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I don't think it's quite as sweet, but it has a nice creamy richness to it. Also pretty good chocolate. It's not very waxy at all, which is a relief. I'm not a fan of waxy chocolate. Okay. Oh, and you can see this one is so much darker than the other two. If you like dark chocolate, if you like the really high cacao percentages, then yeah, give this one a try. Otherwise, I might recommend giving this one a pass. That is very dark. It does have a slight waxiness to the texture. I do feel like there are better, nicer high chocolate contents, if that is something that's really important to you. But I might reach for a different Kit Kat, such as honestly the Sweetness for Adults one was better, and this unlabeled dark chocolate one. That is the only explanation I can think of, unless they intentionally sweetened up this one for balancing out the bitterness in coffee. I would opt for one of these other ones. Gochisousama. So to recap, we have this possibly regular dark chocolate, possibly regular Japanese Kit Kat, just to see what the baseline kind of it differs from. Pretty good. Not bad chocolate. A lot darker than I expected. We had the 4 Cafe blend, which just kind of was creamy and nice and sweet and just pretty good Kit Kat, honestly. Just really nice one. And then we had the Cacao 72%, which if you're a big fan of, then, maybe give it a shot. But even if you are, just because of the waxy edge and just because there are really nice high cacao content chocolate bars out there, and the amount of effort that it takes to get your hands on Japanese content, Kit Kats, sometimes I might save my energies for hunting down other ones. But if you like it and and you're like me, where you get just a random bag of Kit Kats, maybe give it a try just for the fun of it. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you like my shirt, the link for that is down in the description below. And please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Jane!